testimony we heard this morning as Dr. Ford told this committee that the only people to whom she gave her letter were her attorneys, the ranking member, and her member of Congress.
Right now, the Senate Judiciary Committee is holding the Supreme Court confirmation meeting. Christine Blasey Ford gave the testimony this morning, and now it's Brett Kavanaugh's turn. We'll have the latest on the hearings. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Thank you for joining us. Christine Blasey Ford says she's 100% certain a drunk Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her when they were teenagers. Kavanaugh says he absolutely did not. Emily Schmidt has the details from Washington.
From the same oath to tell the truth, two very different versions of what that truth is.
I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling.
Brett Kavanaugh defends himself against charges he calls absolutely false.
I'm here today to tell the truth. I've never sexually assaulted anyone.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified.
I just wanted to let you know I'm very sorry. That's not right.
Arizona sex crimes prosecutor Rachel Mitchell did the questioning on behalf of the all-male Republican committee members. Republicans have questioned the last-minute timing of Ford's revelation. Democratic committee member Dianne Feinstein knew about Ford's story in July. It wasn't made public until a September Washington Post report.
I am an independent person and I am no one's pawn.
Ford says though the alleged event happened more than 3 decades ago, she still gets panicked. She has 2 front doors on her house to ease claustrophobia. She says she doesn't remember all the details, but she does remember this.
Indelible in the hippocampus is the laughter, the uproarious laughter.
This is a circus. The consequences will extend long past my nomination.
With only the 2 of them before the committee, it is his word against hers, with senators soon deciding whose word carries more weight. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Kavanaugh spoke for almost an hour during his opening statement, but the hearing has last hours with small breaks. The motion ran through during Kavanaugh's And it wasn't just the nominee who was upset. Senator Lindsey Graham, at one point...
This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell.
This
is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted with professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop.
President Donald Trump calls the sexual misconduct claims against his Supreme Court nominee, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, a big fat con job. Last night, the president held an unexpected press conference. He insists allegations against Kavanaugh are politically motivated.
I had a lot of false charges made against me. I'm a very famous person. People want fame, they want money, they want whatever. So when I see it, I view it differently than somebody sitting home watching television.
Watch the testimony of Kavanaugh and his first accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, suggesting he could change his mind about her claim. The Republican Ohio governor's candidate says Ford should be taken seriously. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine says senators must allow the hearing process to play out before drawing conclusions. His statements follow initial support for Republican President Donald Trump's nomination of Kavanaugh on Twitter. Tomorrow we'll have a special edition of Newswatch looking at how the local community is dealing with the problem of sexual assault. A former Ohio student is speaking out for the first time after she was sexually assaulted her freshman year. We also talk with a nurse examiner who explains the steps victims take for a rape kit. And Ohio University and Athens Police Department aren't the only ones taking safety precautions. Students and businesses are stepping up.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Michaela Gross. Overall today, a very gloomy, rainy day. As the day continued on, the temperatures did begin to get a little more colder. But as we're looking right now, we're seeing those temperatures are sitting in the lower to upper 60s. As right now in Athens, we're seeing 60 degrees, the cloudy skies. There's possibilities for rain throughout the viewing area as of right now. But our hot spots up in Columbus at 62 degrees. And like I said, overall 60s across the viewing area for currently.
All right, thank you so much for that weather update. An Athens County man has been charged with aggravated robbery. Kenneth Irwin Jr. is alleged to have assaulted an Athens man, David Johnson, then stole his car. The incident is said to have begun at Johnson's residence. Irwin then fled the scene and was arrested when his estranged wife called police and reported that she believed he was in danger. A $100,000 bond has been set. A preliminary hearing is set for this Monday. A Mansfield woman also faces charges, this one involving robbery and assault. Demetria Eccles, 21, is accused of injuring an employee of C&E on Richland Avenue. County prosecutor Keller Blackburn says Eccles allegedly stole food and other items and then fled to her car. General Manager Jarrett Jones ran in front of her car to stop her, but she sped up, sent Jones over the hood, and gave him a concussion and broken arm. Athens police obtained a search warrant for the car and found Eccles a Summit apartment. The trial starts next Wednesday in Athens Court of Common Pleas. Unemployment in Athens County is decreasing. Currently, it sits at just over 6%. Statewide, though, the trend is different. Ohio's unemployment saw a slight increase in August. Today, it sits just above 4.5%, according to the Ohio Department of Jobs. Athens County started off the year under 6%. Every county surrounding Athens shows lower rates than Athens, except for Meigs County, which has the highest rate in the region. Authorities say an Ohio man is dead after being struck by a train. Farborn Fire Department Battalion Chief says the pedestrian was struck by a train this morning in Dayton. He says Norfolk Southern officials to stop the train immediately and notified authorities. Authorities have not identified the man. Cases of hepatitis A are down in West Virginia. Health professionals in West Virginia say the number of cases peaked in Cabell County in July. There were more than 200 cases, but the county did not have any diagnosed cases in the past 5 years. The decline of cases does not indicate when new hepatitis A cases will return to more normal levels. A secondary increase of cases is still possible. A project to install a high-speed internet network in Kentucky is now 4 years behind schedule. The project, Kentucky Wired, aims to install 3,000 miles of fiber optic cables in all 120 counties in Kentucky. Former Education Commissioner Terry Holliday says they will not be able to use federal K-12 education money to make their payments on the project. A private contractor told state officials the project schedule was unrealistic and would cause delays. Delays have cost taxpayers around $96 million. The Kavanaugh hearing isn't the only drama Trump is dealing with in Washington. Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein still has his job, at least until he meets with President Trump next week.
Baseball is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall.
Which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you.
And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage.
So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
There could be another high-profile person leaving the Trump administration. Rumors of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein's exit have been swirling for weeks. The decision will have to wait until next week. John Lorix reports.
Rod Rosenstein might not have to start looking for a new job just yet.
We'll be meeting at the White House and we'll be determining what's going on.
Sources said the Deputy Attorney General offered to turn in his notice to Chief of Staff John Kelly last week. This after a report from the New York Times that claimed Rosenstein considered secretly recording the president and invoking the 25th Amendment to oust him from office following the firing of FBI Director James Comey. Rosenstein denies the allegations.
We've had a good talk. He said he never said it. He said he doesn't believe it. He said he has a lot of respect for me, and he was very nice, and we'll see.
Members of both parties say if President Trump gets rid of Rosenstein, there would be serious repercussions. That's because Rosenstein is overseeing Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation.
If the president fires Rod Rosenstein, it is Exhibit B in the obstruction of justice case against him, Exhibit A being the firing of James Comey.
If he did something like that, it would cause a furor that I don't think we need right now.
Some Republicans say they want to see memos from former FBI Director Andrew McCabe, which a Democratic aide says detail Rosenstein's reported comments about ousting the president. In the meantime, Rosenstein can only await his fate. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Again, the meeting between the president and Rosenstein is postponed for next week due to the Kavanaugh hearings. A woman who's almost 100 years old is still working as a hairdresser.
And coming up in my full forecast, we'll be talking about what to expect over the next couple of days and into Parents' Weekend. And now a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Michaela Gress. Now, as we're looking right now, we're seeing those temperatures as 60 degrees, light rain out there. It's pretty cool, so make sure that you have an umbrella right by you as you go out tonight. Now, as we're looking at temperatures across the region, it's a similar pattern as to right here in Athens. We're seeing those 60s make their way across the area right now. Now, if we look at our precipcast, we're seeing that the precipitation currently is sitting right over us, but we see this nice high pressure system. And as we look into tomorrow, it's still going to stay there, but it's going to allow for the precipitation to move off towards the east into tomorrow. Now, as we look at the low temperatures into tonight, we're going to see 50s and 40s for the common theme across the viewing area, and Ripley will be our hotspot at 54 degrees. Now, tonight in Athens alone, it's going to be 50 degrees, light rain, cooler conditions, and those winds are going to be coming out of the northwest at 6 miles an hour. Now, as we look into tonight, we're going to be seeing the temperature begin to drop. As we're looking at 8 p.m., we're seeing 60 degrees, and then it's just going to begin to lightly chill down as the evening rolls on. Now, as we're looking at tomorrow, 51 degrees at the bus stop, so make sure the kids have a light jacket with them, but they will be able to peel it off as at noon. It's going to be 64 and then 70 at 4 p.m. That sunshine is going to make its way out for tomorrow. And tomorrow's high is 71 degrees. Afternoon sun, there will be some clouds, but nothing too bad to worry about. But as we keep going on, we're going to see that afternoon sun. Those temperatures will begin to warm up, which will be a great start to the weekend ahead. As we look at the 70s all across the area, it's going to be a very warm Friday. As we see 75 down in Ripley. And up in Newark, we're going to see 71 degrees, so a common theme across the viewing area for tomorrow. And as we continue into the 7-day forecast, take a look at this. We're going to see the 71 degrees tomorrow, and then Saturday is also going to be 70, but as we look at Sunday, we're going to see 78 degrees, which is going to be one of the hotter moments of the weekend this weekend. So if you have parents coming out for Parents Weekend, make sure you go outside and enjoy that day on Sunday, as it's going to be 78. Now, Monday to start out the work week, we'll see 81 degrees. The sun will still be shining, so no precipitation to worry about as for that day. Now, Tuesday, we're going to see a 40% chance of rain as a warm front begins to make its way into our area, and it's going to allow for some potential for rain as into Wednesday as well. And as we continue throughout the work week, we're going to be seeing that sunshine continuing to stay in our area. Back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you. It's now flu season. A record number of people died from the flu in the U.S. last year. Kim Hutchinson has more.
The flu held a deadly and historic grip on Americans last winter. An estimated 80,000 people died from influenza and flu complications, making it the deadliest flu season in more than 40 years, according to new information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In past seasons, flu deaths ranged from a low of about 12,000 to a high of 56,000. The 2017-2018 season was particularly harsh for several reasons. Flu activity spread like wildfire across the entire U.S., and it was high for months. Severe cases began in November, spiking until the end of March. And the flu didn't just affect seniors and those with weak immune systems like it usually does. Severe cases hit physically fit, healthy people of all ages. It got so bad that overwhelmed hospitals treated patients in tents and parking lots. Millions of Americans got a vaccine, but last year it was only about 40% effective. Regardless, doctors advise getting vaccinated because it lowers odds of getting the virus, thus saving tens of thousands of lives and preventing more than 100,000 hospitalizations. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
I'm Paul Roth, and today in sports, I'll give you my picks for this week's slate of Tri-Valley Conference games. And sports director Thomas Garvrick will be live at Peden Stadium previewing this Saturday's matchup between Ohio University and UMass, next on Newswatch. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
This fall is going fast, but don't get bored on us mid-season now. The playoff picture is starting to develop, and every game that we bring you will have playoff implications. Right now is one of the most exciting times of the fall. Which means you can't afford to miss Friday nights with us. Live at 11:30, Gridiron Glory is here for you. And check out our Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages all throughout the week. They're chock full of coverage. So start your weekends with us. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, I'm Paul Roth. The Ohio football team finally returns home this Saturday. Sports director Thomas Garvrick is live from Peden Stadium to preview Ohio's matchup with the UMass Minutemen.
Yeah, Paul, and it feels like an eternity since Ohio last played here in Peden. It's been almost 4 weeks since the team has played a home game, but not a whole lot has changed since Howard gave the Bobcats a Week 1 scare, and a lot of that starts with the defensive side of the ball. The defense has given up 30-plus points in all 3 games this year, and that doesn't bode well with the Minutemen team that hasn't scored less than 34 points in any of their games this year. And they showed that against Ohio last year with the Bobcats holding on for a 58-50 win. So if you're going to this game, you better love seeing points being put on the board. But Ohio's offense hasn't been as potent as last year's group, but there were signs of it last week against Cincinnati. The team ran for a season best 234 yards, and quarterback Nathan Moore looked more like his 2017 self, making those off-script plays that Bobcat fans have grown accustomed to. And for Ohio to avoid their third straight loss, they need to do two things. Defensively, they need to limit those big explosive plays. For working the offense, they need to get off to a fast start again, but sustain it too. If they can do those two things, there's no reason why they can't walk away from Parents Weekend with a win. Reporting live from Peden Stadium for Newswatch, I'm Thomas Garber.
Thanks, Thomas. If you can't make it out to Peden, check out WOUB.org for a recap of the game. Now, the Bobcats soccer team is back in action this weekend as they take on Miami of Ohio tomorrow. Last weekend, they went to Michigan and split a pair of games against Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan. That first game against Central Michigan was a tough 1-0 loss in double overtime, but head coach Aaron Rodgers says he was proud to see the girls bounce back and take down Eastern Michigan.
Our players could have easily dropped their head and said, "Oh man, we've just heartbreaker Friday, given up a goal." But no, we responded even greater and stronger. For them to recognize that, hey, you know what, we did play well, it was a disappointment, but we have a good team. We believe in each other. We believe, the coaching staff believes in them, they believe in us and everything that we're trying to work through.
Tomorrow's game against Miami will be just the third home game the Bobcats have had this season and their first since September 2nd. Coach said they're just excited to finally be back home. Start time for tomorrow's game is at 4 p.m. Over at the Convo, the women's volleyball team is gearing up to face Buffalo tomorrow. The Bobcats are just 7-9 so far this season, but their record doesn't reflect the potential of this team. They faced a grueling out-of-conference schedule that included last year's national champion Nebraska. But senior Katie Nelson says that was all by design.
We do a really challenging preseason just kind of to get us ready for MAC play, and it's really good to play the big teams, big physical teams that we don't usually see in the MAC. MAC's got some really physical players, but not necessarily the entire team, whereas there's not as big as the Nebraskas and stuff. So it's a different style of play that we usually play during preseason, but the work ethic is still the same.
Start time for tomorrow's game against Buffalo is 7 p.m. And it's Thursday, so that means more GG Pick'em. My colleague Tyler Corbett went 6-3 with his picks last week and is sitting at 12-8 through 2 weeks. I went 8-0 the first time around, so let's get them all again this week, shall we? Starting in the Hocking, the Federal Hocking Lancers are riding into Belpre, and the Golden Eagles will gladly greet them with a 35-0 win. Eastern is visiting Wahama, and I'm saying fly, Eagles, fly, 17-10. Miller welcomes Middletown Christian, and a YouTube video told me an Eagle would beat a Falcon in a fight, so that's who I'm picking on the football field, 40-6, Middleton Christian. The South Gallia Rebels are headed to Southern, and the Tornadoes are going to blow them away, 35-14. And finally, the Gridiron Glory Game of the Week, Waterford at Trimble in the new Gloucester Stadium. It'll be a tight one, but 21-20 Trimble. And over in the Ohio, the Vikings are going to pillage the Spartans of a victory and take it 27-14. The Athens Bulldogs' bite is just as bad as their bark, as they'll take a chomp out of Logan 35-7. Nelsonville York is going to get their second win of the year against Meigs 21-17. And last but not least, the Wellston Rockets will show no mercy to River Valley and blast off for their third win of the season, 45-22. I'm Paul Roth, and that's it for sports. Now over to you, Michaela, in weather.
As for tonight, 50 degrees is going to be the cool temperature tonight in Athens. There's going to be a chance for light rain, but it's going to be cooler conditions, and those winds will be coming out of the northwest at 6 miles an hour. Now for tomorrow, expect the sun, 71 degrees. The afternoon sun will begin to make its way throughout the afternoon tomorrow. There will be some clouds in the area, but not too much to worry about. Now, as we look at the 7-day forecast, we see 72 tomorrow, 70 for Saturday, 78 for Sunday. So if you do have parents coming down for Parents Weekend, it'd be a great idea to make sure that you go outside and enjoy the beautiful temperatures as they begin to heat up by Sunday. Now, for Monday, it's going to be 81 degrees. And as we go into Tuesday, it'll also be 80. So be prepared for those warmer temperatures that are above average for this time of the year. And for Wednesday, 82 degrees. Back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Michaela. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Caitlin Coolidge, and stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news time at WOUB.org. Have a good night.